survive. Yes, we will. I have a beautiful voice, the voice of an angel.
Hey, be ready if Swan shows up in the next few minutes.
Oh, snap, man. We might have a Impact World Champion coming. There's
Let's be honest.
Chris, what's going on?
Yeah, big time, Chris H.
You're muted. You're muted. Hit that mute
There
button.
you go.
There we go.
What is going on? It's glad
Good
to
to have
be
you,
here.
man.
What do you mean?
Nice to have you on the show.
It's nice to see the two of
We're
you.
actually live right now on Twitch, so
Oh, we are live? Oh, okay, good.
I think we're live everywhere. We're live everywhere right now. What's going on, everybody? I'm just going to play the intro. Sorry, I hit the button and we went live.
Hit the music.
Hit the music. Let's go.
And those who consider themselves essential
decide that following the status quo
is nothing more than just an illusion. You bet on yourself.
You bet on yourself. You bet on yourself on the grandest stage of them all. Our stage.
Your stage.
The stage that you build to tell your stories.
Our story.
Your narrative.
Our narrative. A true awakening starts with you.
Starts with you. We choose you.
Be a part of something special.
Be a part of something special. This is our chance to rewrite history. This is the shift in consciousness.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to World Wrestling. I'm just going to play the Hulk Hogan. This is so weird because we started out, I didn't get to play my intro music. So let's start out with our Hulk Hogan. Let's bring it back. The only music I'm allowed to play on YouTube without getting suspended. I wish I could play something better, but let's listen to Hogan. Let's enjoy him. Can you believe Hogan did this bullshit?
It's horrible.
That dude would do
Absolutely
anything
horrible.
for money, wouldn't he?
Oh, he
He's
has.
like, listen up, brother. I'll do it. But it's going to cost you 7 bones a day. He really is a money-hungry son of a bitch.
He shakes you down every chance he can.
That piece of shit has made $100 million, probably got 10 grand in the bank. I mean, it's
I
just
know.
insane. No offense to you, Hogan. I'm sure you're a great guy over there. But, and the worst part is they're still like in their him and old crusty ass Flair. They're in their 60s, but their demographic
70s.
70s, 60s.
Flair is 73.
Hogan
What's
has to
Hogan?
be about, I think Hogan's 69.
Hey,
He's
Alexa,
69,
how old's
right.
Hulk Hogan? Let's see. 68 years old. So Hulk
68.
Hogan's 68, Flair's 67, I think. These two old farts.
No, he's
No,
73.
Flair is like 72. 73.
Okay, Flair's 72.
He just
Hogan's
turned 73.
68. And these two old farts' demographic is like blonde, 28-year-old, skinny model. That's what they're still going on. How is this possible in a world where old, crusty farts are getting young, hot? And think about this.
It's always been that way. You're like outraged over the most obvious
Like
thing.
Ric Flair isn't Hugh Hefner, bro. He's a bootleg Hugh Hefner. You know what
But
I
he
mean?
still
Like,
makes money. He still has a name. And he gets divorced and married to another young every year. So, I mean,
Did you see Al Pacino's date for his 82nd birthday?
No,
A 28-year-old. A 28-year-old.
Hey, money walks and money talks.
That's right. That's
It really does. It really does. Welcome to World Wrestling Radio. I am Nico Extra. Joining me for the first time in a long time, my good friend from Unpopular Review, the executive consultant. You go by your government name, or you just use
call me Chris. I mean, Chris Harris doesn't really matter. I don't really care. But yeah, the executive consultant is my moniker. That's what everybody knows me as.
Nice. We'll just stick with it, the executive consultant. And as always, a stable at World Wrestling Radio, the one, the only, Cool Mike C. And Chris, I got to be honest, you're probably his biggest fan because every time he comes on, oh, look, Julie Cutler wants to check the messages. Right. You're definitely a fan. You're looking to do it, and you're doing it.
It rolls off the tongue, man. You get a certain amount of energy, man. I can see why you're married.
Julie wants to join the
Mike
show.
C.
Julie's
Julie.
Cool Mike C. Julie's DMing Nico. She says, check out your messages, Nico.
Where's everybody?
Julie, check out your messages. In a minute, you're going to get a DM from me.
Whoa.
I'm going to invite you to the show, and you can join us. Jay is hanging out with Rich Swan.
I know where Jay is.
He's big timing us again. You know how he does. He big times us every time.
Why does he do this to me? I thought we were
Dude,
friends.
he does it all the time.
That's not 100% true, but that's his business. But where's La Spada?
Spada's not on today because I thought we had a full house, so I let him have the day off. So I don't know where he's at. Dan also was like, I don't know. There's like 5 people, so I guess I won't come on. Julie, I've sent them.
No, he had the opportunity. Daniel could have. He did.
He Misfits. No. Mad Dog, thank you for joining us. Those of you that love Mad Dog, he's still under the weather. Hopefully, he'll be back next week. In remembrance of Mad Dog, let's play his theme.
Yeah.
Mad Dog It's time for Mad Dog News. Okay. All right, we're going to miss you, buddy. We'll see you back next week. I do feel Howard Sternish when I do that. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of fun. It's like the goofiest, dumbest shit.
I'm liking the setup. I mean, every time I turn on the show, I see a different setup.
I really appreciate this because I had talked to Mike about my vision, and I was like, dude, I want it to be like extra as fuck.
Yeah,
remember I told you, I said I want a scrolling LED screen. Yep. You were like, damn, that's like crazy. I was like, I'm going to put my screen up. I was like,
LEDs to the music.
Remember I said I saw these things at
the light panels.
I want these panels flashing. I got this stupid light behind me. I got my belts. It's
the belt tower.
I put so much. I got my autographs added up. I put so much work into it. So I'm going to honestly say thank you because I don't get enough praise for this creation that I'm very proud of. So I appreciate you. And your trees are very lovely, by the way, as well.
Everybody always talks about the trees. You know, I just needed to put them somewhere. These things were $50 a pop.
He's like Zach Galifianakis between the ferns.
He is. I would love
things between the ferns or between those. What about the Hemi powered?
Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate
tapestry that I have behind me with Christy Hemi.
You got Christy.
The last time I was on this show, you were in this expensive house.
Right, the virtual background.
I was so impressed with yours. You know,
I was at Nico's guest house. You know,
really,
yeah. I mean, you know how he is.
Last time I was at a house and I asked somebody.
Nerds of Wrestling,
Justin Del Rio. The last time I was at somebody's house and I tried to do a show, they put me in the bathroom. So it didn't work out too well.
It's good to have you on our show, Chris. You know, obviously, I do love you and I miss you. I've talked you into coming to NXT next week.
I will be at NXT.
Yeah, spring breaking.
Because we're having a good time, man. We're getting a little tipsy beforehand, a little fun after. You know what, guys? I'm gonna switch to my Pat McAfee stance because I was doing it earlier.
You stand up.
I was doing it earlier and I was enjoying it, but then look at this. I'm liking this.
Over the top.
Dun, 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 dun. So anyways,
it's like why is the chair there?
I'm excited. What happened?
It's like why is there a chair there when I'm watching Pat McAfee show?
He doesn't even need it. And I love McAfee's show. I never really thought I'd be a person that would enjoy it, but I really am enjoying his show. And this week when he was talking about the USFL and he was like, "It's dead, bro. It's dead." I was like, "God damn, it is dead, man."
He talked about that on SmackDown actually too. He made a comment about it.
Let's just go right into it. Let's just go because we're vibing here. Let's go right into McAfee because he is one of the most impressive people that was able to transfer from not being a pro wrestler into being a pro wrestler. And what he's been able to do, he had some stellar matches. He had some really great matches with Adam Cole.
Oh yeah.
He had that fucking War Games match that was
Yes.
insane.
Off the top.
And now
Yep.
WrestleMania, perhaps stealing the show to some extent for that evening.
Only because Stone Cold, the match itself wasn't that good.
The event itself with Vince and Stone Cold and
he
Austin.
didn't embarrass himself. He looked very good. He looked very good. McAfee is legit. Every time he's gone out there, he's delivered. So I give him props.
It's got that dope entrance. And here's the thing. When you get in front of 75, 80,000 people, it's crazy.
He's done it with the Colts.
7,000 with that energy. It's
Right.
like they were dead.
No one has a million watching.
Right.
It's insane. It's insane. Everyone, thank you for joining Ask Your Questions Live. Julie Cutler will be joining us soon. The one, the only Julie Cutler. Very beautiful lady with a wrestling opinion. In the meantime,
Miss Massachusetts in the making.
Executive consultant, you are the guest of the evening currently until we have a beautiful lady replace you. What would you like to talk about?
You can't replace Chris.
Chris is irreplaceable. But what would you like to talk about in the world of pro wrestling right now?
We can talk about it all. You know, I'm really interested. I mean, I'm off my high of WrestleMania. Right?
Oh yeah.
It was a good 7 days of just being like, wow, that really happened.
Wow, we're blown away. But now we're back in reality, right? We're approaching WrestleMania Backlash. And they do the WrestleMania part before Backlash to try to capitalize off the high of WrestleMania. Doesn't work, my friends. Does not
really
work.
Doesn't.
Want to stick with Backlash. But going to WrestleMania Backlash, going to Double or Nothing, we had some good matches coming along for Double or Nothing. Backlash has some good rematches, in my opinion, but it's going to work for it. I think Raw's been doing phenomenal. I think Raw's been in the best shape now than it has been in quite some time, if you ask me. Not that I thought it was a bad show last year, but I do find myself actually watching it with enjoyment throughout the entire show, except for I'm not a fan of Ezekiel.
You mean Elias's younger brother?
No, I mean Elias. I'm not a fan of it.
Dude, that is not Elias. That is Elias.
You're on the same bullcrap too. I see that.
Come on, man. They're clearly different. He passed the lie detector test.
Yeah. You know what? Anybody can pass a lie detector test if they're disciplined enough.
He doesn't even have a beard. Come on. He doesn't. He can't be.
There's no beard. He can't play a guitar. I mean, it's clearly not him.
Right.
But here's the real question: where is Elias if his brother took over? And
I thought Elias died, but apparently he's still being ran into at the airport from time to time. So
just his career died.
His career definitely died with COVID.
COVID did him in when he couldn't interact with the crowd. You're exactly right.
When you could not interact with the crowd, and you have to be forced to watch him wrestle, and you see he's okay, he's passable, but he's decent, right? In the ring, and you don't get that walk with Elias. Oh, it was over. They said you had
it was over
off of TV.
Man, and
COVID did crush him.
Guggenheim swept right in as that guy playing.
Oh yeah, Boogs, right?
Man, we saw Boogs. How many years ago did we see Boogs and go, that guy's a star?
Like 4 years ago. Yeah,
I never thought he was a star.
Oh come on, when he came out was air guitar.
He played air guitar for like 5 minutes. This guy was crazy, man.
How was that entertaining? I don't understand.
Oh my God, he had the place rocking. People were chanting Boogenheimer.
Oh, me.
Boogenheimer. Everybody was going Boogerheimer.
Okay. Well, when he got in the ring, he actually had to show his work, and he got injured, right? I have no idea what I'm going to do with this outfit I was going to wear before I put on suspenders. Hey, Elias, do you want it? And then say you're somebody's younger brother, and that's what happened. So now Ezekiel's walking around with Guggenhagen's clothes because Guggenhagen stole his damn gimmick.
Boogs took on too much at Mania trying to carry both guys.
It's kind of annoying to stand, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, he has a very impressive physique, so I see why he's trying to show it off, but he needs to make sure he's careful.
But that just crushed his it crushed his quad?
WrestleMania moment.
It crushed him and Shinsuke, you ask me.
Yeah.
Big WrestleMania moment, and you injure your quad. Was it your quad or your something?
His quad, I believe. Yeah.
Quad. And the thing it was the worst match.
Just sucks.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. By far the worst.
For the I feel it's unfortunate for the Usos too, because that was the Usos' first WrestleMania match 2-on-2. Title defense. And,
oh, really?
Right.
First
that wasn't a match. They've had like 2 or 3 pre-matches, the pre-shows. They've never had one.
And then they had a triple threat match for the tag team titles at WrestleMania 34, I believe.
Yeah.
It was them versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers, which was just the Bludgeon Brothers destroying them. It looked kind of like a 10-man match I saw on AEW Dynamite earlier today.
Speaking of the Usos, do you think it's their time to be the ones and gain 2 more championship belts to their repertoire, and also potentially breaking up Orton and Riddle, maybe even Riddle turning heel, which is the moment we're all waiting
It's
for?
coming. It's coming.
I think it's a done deal. I think as soon as Roman said, "Hey, I want you to take the title," I think the writing was on the wall. Like, if no one told Randy Orton and Riddle that they were about to lose the titles, I think Roman told them that Friday night. He said on SmackDown, like, "I'm calling the shots. We're all going to walk out with all the titles. You need to figure out what to do," because I think when Randy does get turned on, because Randy's obviously going to babyface this time. One, it's hard to turn Randy Orton heel or Riddle.
Fan club.
We have a show on literally right now. Can you please go watch that? I don't need to see you, unless you're throwing yourself in that trash. But anyway, so when Randy Orton loses to Riddle, because he can't turn heel on Riddle, right? He's going to beat Riddle. He can't turn heel on Riddle because everybody, the fans will still love him and they'll cheer for him over Riddle. He's at that point now. He cannot really get booed like that, right? And they want him to go against Roman Reigns coming up in a couple months.
Don't you think Riddle has the opportunity to really turn heel right here and shock the world and become this next level guy? I think
it's going to hurt a lot of people because he plays a babyface so well, but he is willing to be a heel. He's interested in being a heel. And I think WWE is going to change him to a heel simply because of one reason only. It's going to sound like a joke, but I'm dead ass serious. He has to change his music.
Oh, that music.
And WWE has been trying to change everybody's music for the last 6 months. If you
the CFOs, right? They got he's got the old school music. They'll be changed as soon as he breaks away from Bro Club or whatever, RK Bro.
He has to change the music.
And here's a beautiful thing. I think Randy is going to give him the RKO and let it be his finisher, because they all kind of hand their finishers off to the next generation, like Stone Cold kind of gave KO the stunner. I think he's going to get the RKO. And when you have that kind of finisher, dude, sky's the limit. All you need is a good finisher in wrestling to be like that'll give Riddle everything he needs. Because I'm sorry, broetry in motion or whatever fucking finisher he does, he needs the RK Bro.
Ooh, what is that called?
Yeah, it's not cool. Whatever it is,
RK Bro is what he needs.
Yeah.
He's as a finisher.
It's not broetry in motions. We do the crazy top.
It's named after somebody.
If you know, let me know in the comments, guys.
It's gonna kill me until I realize what it is.
Google it. Guggenheim.
Guggenheim. So upset when I realize what it is.
Man, I'm loving wrestling right now, and I agree with you. I think Raw has kind of hit its stride, and it's been Broderick. He said,
Bro Derek. That's
Bro Derek.
It's called the Bro Derek.
Bro Derek.
Right.
I said Broderick. Bro Derek.
Well, you know what? The way he worded it.
Yeah, it's Bro Derek.
Thank you, Elvis.
No, I never would thank Elvis. I'll thank Elvis when he stops watching.
Elvis loves you guys. He's one of your most loyal fans, and he's a loyal fan.
I have no idea why.
We love all our people. We don't care if they call us trash or not. We're used to it on social media. We enjoy it. We embrace the hate. Come on, we're parts of Control Your Narrative. You know there's going to be some controversy around that.
You're catching hate for that.
You got to come to the next show, obviously, when they come to Orlando, if they ever do.
I'll be there.
It's good times, man. I'm so happy to have you here. It's like a whole new atmosphere of worlds. We're all like, we have positive energy and positive vibes. Jay was supposed to be here. Is he outside right now saying?
He literally just walked in the apartment.
Elvis, thank you so much. I appreciate the love and support.
You know who's not the man? Never mind. I'm not going to sit here and insult her.
Elvis is the man. He's a nice guy. Nice guy's finished first in the world.
Yeah, why you gotta be hating?
Listen, I just talk about how a positive show here, and now you're talking about shopping.
Because I'm really not a fan.
Will you be going to AEW on Sunday, executive consultant?
AEW on Sunday? Oh, yeah.
the dark. Yeah.
I mean, they probably don't. If I can get a ticket, sure.
Will you get kicked out again?
No comment.
Will you get escorted out?
No comment.
Salty.
You keep posting this damn comments, and we'll keep insulting the guy. I'm trying to leave it alone.
It's funny. Trying
to leave it alone. Last time I saw.
Are you caught up with AEW and what's going on right now? You said the 10-man.
I watched it. I'm not. I don't watch it religiously. Like SmackDown, but I am caught up on AEW.
Do you feel like SmackDown has lost a step or two in the last couple weeks?
I felt like SmackDown pretty much lost a step ever since the draft. I think this time last year, it was like clearly by far the A show of all the wrestling programs, if you ask me. But they needed to straighten up Raw a little bit. and they did, and I think it hurt SmackDown a little bit, which is why they keep having to bring over other wrestlers to help that product a little. But they still have the smarter writers. Even though it's supposed to be the same writers, it doesn't look like it to me. I still think they have better storylines, but Raw definitely is the more exciting show. SmackDown, what holds SmackDown together is, let's be real, the bloodline. You know?
Yeah, if you took Roman out of the picture, SmackDown would kind of suck.
SmackDown would turn into a next level so quickly.
Well, that's exactly what you're talking about now. When you say, "Oh, SmackDown's not all that," well, if everything's all beefed up with the ones all the time, when they're not there, it's a huge drop off. When they're not there, huge.
They have other talent though. Like they have Drew McIntyre. They have Sami.
Ask Nico the worst SmackDown show of the year this year.
Okay,
yeah, the one we went to that
with Undertaker, with Hall of Fame, the absolute worst, and it had everybody else that was available there. Oh, it was just so bad.
How can you not?
The worst SmackDown of the year. Terrible.
How could he not come out right before WrestleMania? You know, is it because they gave us the 2-in-1 combo bullshit? Like, come on. He could have came out and said, "Acknowledge me," and walked back in for all I gave a shit.
No, he didn't do that. I mean, he gave you two WrestleMania shots.
Right.
He came out WrestleMania Saturday and then surprisingly WrestleMania Sunday.
So you don't go to NXT anymore, but do you still watch the product?
I'm aware of the product. I do not watch. I watch AEW more than I watch NXT 2.0.
Obviously, Cool Mike C and I are balls deep in NXT 2.0. You know, Mandy, Nikita Lyons,
Mandy
Cora
Mania.
Jade, the Thirst Trap is, and now even with the new girls that are you got like
Fallon Henley.
Fallon and Indy and Persia and all these other girls that are just like.
I'm well aware of that. And I'm also aware that last night's episode.
Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton's the franchise.
You got
Roxy. Roxy is here. Roxanne Perez. The past two matches
Perez did amazing last night. So they've really gone
against
heavy.
Mandy. She's gone against the champ in her second week there. She went against JC Jane the week before in that. That's how big they think of Roxanne Perez.
How can I not?
And they're looking for somebody to replace Mandy Rose because Mandy Rose is not going to be there at the end of the year.
Do you see Mandy?
Roxy's there. Roxanne Perez. She is. Roxanne Perez is going to get the belt.
Has anyone reinvented themselves like Mandy? She went down to NXT, a mediocre, kind of on the cusp of leaving kind of wrestler, and
right.
into questionably the hottest woman in pro wrestling.
Oh, by far.
You know, she's, and I'm not talking just beautifully, like the buzz about her. When she comes out, the dudes are screaming. She's got the look.
Yeah, like us.
We're screaming. Danielle looks at me yesterday and she's like, "God, you guys are so effing pathetic." And I'm like,
I know.
What do you want me to do right now? Sit here like I'm cool, like the goddess isn't in our presence right now. It's insane how beautiful.
Gorgeous.
She is. But it's really, and now with the dudes, it's this. I will tell you this last departure of wrestlers that they gutted out: Ciampa, LA Knight, Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai. I don't know if she's gone, but like the people that they took out, and then the people obviously before the big mass departure of the Adam Coles and Kyle O'Reilly's. They reinvented themselves, but this last time when they got rid of LA Knight and they took out Ciampa, it's missing something now. NXT, because that moment when LA Knight would come out every 2-hour period between 8 and 10 and do his promo and make fun of someone, or Ciampa would come out and have some kind of bomb-ass match. It's over now, and now it's all about Joe Gacy and Braun Breaker. I mean, it's just like they're missing.
Well, you know they love Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
big fan of Braun Breaker.
But he's not good on the mic.
No, he's not.
He's terrible on the mic.
Get your ass out here if you want to fight. Come on.
And the jean jacket's got to go. I mean, come on.
Jean jacket.
Step it up, man. Come on,
could he be a suit? He's not a suit kind of guy. Look at his dad. His dad had the jeans tucked in.
No, but he needs some type of identity. You can't be like they say, if you start dressing like the fans, you wind up sitting with the fans. He needs a distinct identity, and he doesn't have it yet.
I've never heard that before, but
they're not going to bring him up to the main roster until he gets one.
That's a Jimmy Hart saying.
Yeah, baby. You're not just the fans. You're one of the fans.
You sit with the fans. It sounds like Mickey Mouse. It sounds like Mickey Mouse more than Jimmy.
One of my coolest moments was sitting outside of TNA in one of those shitty days. I don't know. I was there for like 4 hours, just like begging people to come to TNA because everyone hated it. And Jimmy's out there with me. It's me, Jimmy Hart, and then Abyss came out and left for a little bit. But he's like sitting there talking. He's like, "You know how easy it was to make HBK's song?" I was like, "How easy?" He goes, "Man, it was only 3 chords." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Think about it.
Think about it.
And he did the noise. He did the music of the noise. He goes,
He wrote it, right?
He goes, think about it. Yeah, he wrote the whole song.
Yeah,
he goes, think
right,
about it. He
right.
goes, think about the chords I played. He goes, dun, 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 dun. He's like,
That's
it's the same
true.
3 chords over and over and over again. I just repeated it.
He's
and then
right.
I wrote some ridiculous lyrics, and I had freaking Sean sing it, and here we are, 20 years later, everyone's still dancing to it.
Right.
Look who joined us in the waiting room. We are blessed by is it blessed by greatness? Yes, we are blessed by greatness. The one, the only. She has a new name here. What is Heel Julie? Where did this come from? Heel Julie is muted. Heel Julie.
How dare you mute the Princess
muted,
Julie?
Boo! We can't hear the audio. Hit some buttons.
How dare you, Nico?
We'll leave you on because you're pretty to look at. You're much better to look at than the executive consultant until we hear you talking. Executive consultant.
That's not true.
You are pretty. You are a pretty man. I'll give you that. You know what's the funny
He's
thing?
handsome.
We're all together in our circle, and Julie will be back. We apologize. She was restarting her computer. I think Julie needs to win Miss Massachusetts and buy herself a new computer. What do you think?
I think so. I think she needs to
If
pony
executive consultant can pull it off, anyone can pull it off. What are you rocking over there? You got like a good computer or some old beat up?
I had the technician hook this up. So I don't know what this is.
The technician. He's got so many damn names.
He's got the 2 ferns too. You got the 2 ferns, man. That's
How does
awesome.
date go? Did his date go well?
You are well framed by the
so,
ferns.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
She agreed to round 2, so
Whoa!
First time ever.
It's weird. I can't help but feeling like fatherly figure to this guy because he's so much younger than me, and I would never hang out with a 21, 22? I would never hang out with a 21-year-old kid, but I've met him, through you guys. So it's he's just inherently part of our clique. But it's weird. It's weird to be like texting or talking to a 21-year-old dude who's so different than me. He doesn't hang out with Bob Marley. You know what I mean? He's not really smooth with the ladies. He's just.
I think that changed last night. I think he went with a sure thing last night.
What is it?
Nothing's changing for a while. Who you guys?
Chris, did he not close the deal or what?
He's like, "Are you guys talking about me? Damn it, we hear you, bro." It's funny. Anyways, let's get back to wrestling. We got sidetracked. Heel Julie came out. What's up with the Heel Julie? I like when people get their new monikers and they got negative.
Maybe it should be High Heels Julie.
Maybe you
Since
should.
She's
be
going to the
not
pageant.
Cool. Maybe one day you'll be not cool, Mike C.
Or I'll just be High Cool, Mike C.
I need to start. Should I start adding like applauses and shit when people say dumb? Like if you say something stupid, should I be like,
yeah, just do whatever.
Like boo this man, boo this man. If you say something really cool, give you a too sweet.
Yeah, there you go.
Who interfered there? Heel Julie, can we hear you? No.
It's the settings, probably.
Settings. There's a settings button. Hit settings, hit audio, change the audio till you can hear us. There'll be a speaker and a microphone settings. Oh, rookies these days, I swear. Can you hear us talking? No. Technical difficulties for sure. Executive, you're muted too. Are you talking to someone else? Is that why you're muted? Who's your side peep over
Chris
here?
goes, no comment.
Who's on the technician and Jake?
What are these cornballs doing?
Hey, is Rich gonna stop by? I thought Rich was there.
Not yet. Kitchen.
Nathan Birdsell wants to join the live. Oh man, we're having so many technical difficulties. I'll bring you on next week. Anyone who wants to come on next week, write me on Facebook and I will bring you guys on for moments so you can do your appearances. But for now, we don't want to have any more technical difficulties than we're already having. That's not the life we're about. Hangman Adam Page tested positive for COVID. He will not be on AEW Dynamite. Did you guys hear this rumor?
I didn't hear the rumor, but that makes sense.
The man has the cove. Did you hear the inspiration is departing from professional wrestling altogether?
They left Impact and they're not looking for employment elsewhere.
Aren't they currently the new or current Impact champions?
I didn't know
They gave up. They gave up the titles. They lost the titles, and Madison Rayne and someone else have it.
Why would they leave?
They're done with wrestling for now. I think they're going to try to do movies or something else. I think they're going to try to do something to be pretty. OnlyFans. They could still make more than Impact. 100,000 people see Impact. Nobody watches that crap.
All right, Julie is in backstage. What is our bets right now that this will work this time? What do we think?
50-50. Coin toss. Yeah.
All right, let's give it a try. Julie.
Coin
You guys
toss.
have fixed it.
Yeah. Woo.
She took the headphones off. That's all.
I couldn't do the headphones.
It was the
I don't know.
headphones.
I was like, of course, the second that I try to come on the show is when I have to install updates on my computer. So we all know how that works out, but I'm back.
Very
We've
good.
missed you, Heel Julie. What is up with the heel? Tell us about your new persona, because you were not.
And she's wearing black, and her hair's pulled back. She's
I
got the
see it. I
heel
see all
look.
the
She's
details.
playing the vibe.
This has actually been like a long running persona of mine. So back in the day, I'm not on Twitter currently, but back in the day when I was on Twitter, that was my handle. I was Heel Julie, and I come in, I mix things up, and then I'm here for the comments. So wrestling Twitter is actually like a really scary place. So I kind of had to step away for a little bit just because it was a lot. But if there's enough convincing, I might come back at some point in the near future. People get very aggressive on wrestling Twitter. Like, you can't say anything about anything.
Tell Nico all about it.
If you say one thing that someone doesn't like, you're like a terrible person.
30 people.
Yeah. No, you can't say anything. So I
have 26.9 thousand followers on Twitter, so I'm very popular.
Only 26.9?
Yeah, that's all I got. But I can assure you that 26.8 of them hate my fucking guts. And anything I do, no matter what, they want to shit in my cornflakes every day.
But they remember what you do. They listen to what you say. As much as they don't like you, they pay attention.
Here's a
just
funny
from their
thing.
comments, they do. They pay attention to his stuff from like months ago.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I Google me right now, some War Games bullshit will come up. Here's the funny thing: like, none of us would probably be friends right now, besides Julie, who we would all see, on the internet as Miss
Miss Massachusetts.
Executive consultant is the guy that connected us all together. I met Chris before I met our whole gang of misfits, and he introduced me to Jay, who introduced me to Cool Mike C, who's now my homie, who introduced me to Vince, who's not here right now. I don't know where he's like. This is crazy that it's all came from, and I'm saying that because executive consultant saw me on Twitter and was like, "Hey, you're Nico from Twitter." So we saw each other at the ale house. So
correct.
It's just crazy how the world turns like that.
Can I take one moment also while we're on the topic of just
Heel Julie, this is your platform. Take it.
All right. I just want to take 1 minute to put over Cool Mike C's tropical background, because if we're talking Cool Mike, that's as cool as it gets right there.
That's it, right?
You don't even understand how cool Mike C is. This guy goes to the bar. He was Long Island Mike C for obvious reasons. And it was because he would get 32-ounce Long Island drinks that were like this big, hammer them down, and then say like crazy
stagger
shit.
Into wrestling and
try to fight the bartender,
bother people.
So since then he's converted to Cool Mike C, and it's a much better persona.
Right.
Love that for you. Love it for you. I want to
I'm
know
liking Heel Julie.
What's
yeah,
that?
let's hear about Heel Julie.
I'm liking Heel Julie. This came out.
Yes.
This came out of nowhere for me because you were Miss Massachusetts Goody Two Shoes just a couple weeks ago, and now you're here with the black on, the hair.
Right.
I wear many hats. I might look sweet on the outside. I may be small, but I'm very fierce. So
you are.
I came locked and loaded. I'm almost caught up with my wrestling content. I came locked and loaded with things to say. So what are we talking about, boys?
Now there you go.
Joining us at this moment. Put that away, dickhead.
Oh yeah,
no,
Jay.
No. Jay, put that away. I will get kicked off social media. You're not kicking me off of social media again. This guy is such a fucking moron. Why are you a fucking moron, bro? Anyways, he had the old doob hanging out. Anyways, Julie, this is your platform. You tell me what you'd like to talk about, and we'll discuss it. You're
Yes.
on mute, by the way,
lot,
Jay.
There's a lot on my mind right now in the wrestling world in general. I know, Nico, you and I had talked a little bit about the new NXT the other day. I actually caught you guys the other week kind of doing a little debate back and forth between new NXT and old NXT. I definitely had some thoughts to share on that. I did just watch most of AEW Dynamite, so I caught everything from the Jericho Appreciation Society segment forward. I do have a little bit of catching up to do there. But I don't know.
Let's go straight into
NXT. NXT.
I mean, we are NXT.
We went all the way to Texas to see NXT.
We love NXT.
I know,
and CYN and SmackDown and Undertaker.
But
we went all in.
I know you guys were doing a little bit of back and forth about Black and Gold versus NXT 2.0, and I had a lot to say about this. So,
but here's the thing, dude, what NXT 2.0 are you talking about? The original? Because there's now an NXT 3.0, in my opinion. When you pull Ciampa and Raquel and LA Knight and all these guys that were going to blend in with the old thing, and now it's
Kushida, everybody that's gone now.
Now it's like they're really kind of starting with a fresh slate.
It's all developmental now.
Creed Brothers,
right?
It's changed, you know.
So here's what I gathered from the conversation. Here's what I gathered from the conversation the other week. I think the problem that I think a lot of people are having between Black and Gold and NXT 2.0 is that at Black and Gold, it was like supposed to be developmental. But the thing is, a lot of the talent that they had there were people who had a lot of experience in other somewhat major Ring of Honor, people that had spent years in Japan. These were people
It was an indie all-star show. It was an indie all-star show that Triple H wanted to do. He wanted to show he could get better ratings than what Vince was doing, and Vince goes, that's not what I want. You created essentially AEW. We don't want an indie show. We want the next generation going in as a feeder system, and they're on that track now. So they're on the right track, really. But wasn't Black and Gold the best? We loved the Black and Gold forever, and nothing will ever touch that for us. When we were in Full Sail, it was the best ever.
Well, here's I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head with a lot of what I was going to say, which is, at one point, a couple of years ago, I remember people complaining that WWE was hoarding talent. Like, at this point, they were signing all of the big names from the indie scene. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had, and the thing was, some of these people, they kind of did a little bit of tweaking. For example, like Ricochet, they had him, they shortened the name a little bit. Right. And then they shortened King Ricochet. But you had Johnny Gargano, you had Candice LeRae, they brought in Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green. You had all of these people that had spent years and years making huge names for themselves on the indies. And when they did bring them in, there was some level
EC3.
EC3, that's right. My friend that Nico was trying to set me up with a couple weeks
Which
ago
one?
On air.
With EC3?
Yeah, he tried to set us up on air.
Oh, wow.
You would be interested too. Anyways.
but
the essential character.
The essential character 3. And I remember actually I went to NXT TakeOver in New Orleans, and that was when they had the 5-man.
He was in it. He was in the ladder match, yeah.
And that was honestly one of the best ladder matches that I've ever seen.
My favorite.
It was really up there for me. And the thing was, like, they had such a good selection of guys that each kind of
Adam Cole, baby. Winning it. Yeah.
They each brought a little bit of something different to the table. Not a lot of, they weren't all like stereotypical ladder match guys either. But the thing was, at that point in time, it was kind of like an indie all-star show. And the thing was, it was very focused in terms of their storytelling. So every NXT TakeOver was maybe like 5-6 matches, and every single story had a lot of thought and care that was put into it, with all these people that weren't really spring chickens. They were people that had years and years of wrestling experience around the world. So it got to the point, at least for me and for some of the people that I am close to, I feel like we were all kind of feeling like the NXT takeovers were like almost better than the main product pay-per-views.
Oh, definitely.
And now, like Mike said, I think what they're doing is they're stepping it back and they're saying, no, this is going to be actual developmental. And so, I mean, you can see they released or sort of had a lot of those big names from the indies move on, and now they're really starting with a lot of people that maybe have some indie experience, but they're not so established that like they're still young enough and they're still early enough in their career where they have room to kind of rebrand them and mold them into what they want to make them into. And then a lot of like these former world-class college athletes that maybe don't have any wrestling experience, but they feel like they have the tools in their toolbox to sort of make them into what they want. So what I think is that we were almost so spoiled with the Black and Gold because it like really was not a developmental show, that now that we're jumping back to an actual developmental territory, a lot of people are freaking out. But I do think there's a lot of potential that has to be offered there as well, for sure. It's just a change, and people don't like change, and it takes time to get used to. And
Yeah, but I have to go to that show. You know what I mean? Like I have to go and Jay, you're muted, by the way. I don't know if it's because you have a party going on outside your house or we can't hear you talking. So you have to unmute for us to be able to hear you. But for me, I have to leave. I have to be, I mean, there's nerds out front at 5:00 waiting to get on the bus for NXT. The show starts at 7:30 from at Level Up. And then it goes on. What's up, executive consultant, really, Jay? How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. I mean, I gotta say, I love NXT.
Yeah, your shit's way too loud, homie. You got way too many people in the background.
I don't have a problem with NXT, man. I don't.
You got Impact Wrestling champion sitting in your.
I do. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm on here right now. I need to be chilling.
Yeah, you need to go hang out. We'll just skip you. Man? Go have fun with your homie.
Hey, but listen, NXT is so good right now. Honestly, like let's admit it. The last takeover, WrestleMania week takeover, Stand and Deliver, unbelievable. Every time they just prove that their developmental progress with these new people are always on point. You have everyone backstage working. NXT is awesome. Of course, it's rebranding, restarting. That's process of life. Like you got to start over. You got to look different. You got to change things up. NXT is gonna just go uphill. They're on national television. All right, so they're one step above everyone. What everyone thinks they are. They don't even travel. If they wanted to travel, they'd be making so much more money. You know. So whatever Triple H, if he's still there working behind the scenes, whatever he's doing, to me is perfectly fine.
I agree. And I think that, well, I mean, the last 2 weeks you can't say has been amazing. Let's be honest.
Well,
because
it's never always amazing, but come on, man, whenever they, have to prove to the world that they have it, takeovers always set off, the people that need to step up always step up. And
how would TakeOver have been with no Ciampa, no Raquel Gonzalez, and no LA Knight? Because that's what the next TakeOver is going to be.
We're attached to them from NXT. Of course, we're going to be emotional and be.
We're bitter. That's our problem. We're jaded from that shit.
Those guys, like Tommaso Ciampa, he said that he would never leave NXT. Look at him. Everyone has to move around for money. Everyone has to move around for their personal reasons. Everyone has to move around because it's work.
Everybody has a price.
And so the new NXT guys, I mean, I got nothing bad to say about them. I've been watching the product week after week, and I keep seeing these guys getting bigger, getting stronger, learning different moves. Look at Chase U. A week ago, they didn't even have a tag team finisher. Now they're bouncing off each other's back, slamming on each other. It's just NXT they always bring you a little something, so.
I think Chase, I want to jump in there.
What characters?
I love you guys, but I'm out of here, man.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Tell Rich Swann I said hey.
All right, brother.
So
he's hanging out with his homies.
Chase U, funny story about them. So I come up with a lot of like my own ideas about like how I would book people. And I came up with an idea I was telling someone this a couple years ago. I was like, how funny would it be if I was actually thinking, how funny would it be if like the Elite and like the Young Bucks and that whole group of guys did like a faux college fraternity storyline? And obviously that never happened because it's like kind of like a ridiculous idea. But now that someone's kind of doing like a they're doing the Chase U thing. My thing is like when someone does something like that, I think that they should take that gimmick and just like run it to the moon. Like I think they could stand to make themselves like 10 times more ridiculous. And really like if they really want to like lean into the university thing, there's so much hilarious stuff that they could do with that. And honestly, I hope that they just take that and run with it, because that's always the best in wrestling. It's
Right.
always like
Over the
when
top.
exactly, when people take, especially when it's sort of like an iteration of their own personality, when someone takes their own real life personality and just like cranks it up to 11, those I feel like historically have always been the best characters. And so I think with a lot of these people, I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of potential, and once they sort
definitely.
of fall into a groove of something that's like sort of sticking. I think Tiffany is actually a really good example of this. Like her gimmick is like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is kind of ridiculous, but I actually love it at the same
Daddy's
time.
little girl. Come
Yeah, and I'm
on.
like, if you take that and just run with it, it could really have legs. And that's what I think a lot of these people need to do, is they need to find their groove. And the thing is, I think where they run into trouble sometimes is when they take someone and they like really try to reinvent the wheel and make them into something that they're not at all. It's all about, for me, leaning into sort of like that person's authenticity, what makes them stand out, what they're naturally good at, finding that niche, and then just like putting a rocket on them.
Yeah. They're
And I
definitely trying different shit out. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Parker Bordeaux. I would have never pictured him becoming Harland and this psycho killer with this
Yeah,
like,
I was a little
because
I was
if you
surprised.
follow him on social media, he's like a glitzy drip kind of dude. He's always got like fresh outfits on, and he's got a lot of personality. Now that he's Harlan, he's all in on that character, and he's like, now I love, because I actually met him before he like, blew up. He was always famous because he went to UCF. He played at
I do
UCF
remember
football.
seeing him like when he was very early on in his
Right.
training.
Well, I was
And
like, oh
people
my
saying,
God,
like,
like
he's
I remember him
he's
from
gonna blow up.
college. Yeah. I was like, damn, that's Parker Bordeaux from UCF. So I had talked to him like way before he even started. So when I saw him come out, but now he takes pictures in front of like the Walmart camera when he's walking in like a psycho. He like, stares at the camera and stuff. So it's just like he's playing to the character. So I think it could work or not work. And Chase U's a perfect example. Look how great Chase U's doing it.
I think so too. And I think it is very hit or miss. I think that there's some people, for example, this is like a throwback, but I always think of the Goldust character, because Dustin Rhodes said that when he first did that character, that was Vince McMahon's idea. And he basically said, I mean, it was at the time, that was like such a cutting edge character. I mean, now, over the years, I feel like the Goldust character kind of evolved in different ways, where it wasn't really exactly what it started out as. But at the time when he first did that, that was a very cutting edge character. The sort of like blurred lines between like the femininity and the masculinity and the body paint, all of that. And the way that I remember him talking about it previously is he was saying, like, I almost feel like Vince McMahon saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, in order to do this character, because not only was it a very cutting edge character, but it was something that if you had given that to anyone else, someone could have easily bombed that, like totally screwed that up. But he just had the tools in his toolbox where he made it work. And so I think sometimes, you take risks like that and it works. And sometimes it's just too different from what a person's really capable of doing. Or, for example, I think kind of on the other side of the coin, I remember when they were pumping up the Emmalina gimmick and they were doing all those vignettes, and it was like Emma was going to re-debut, and obviously that didn't really go anywhere. And then after the fact, when she was talking about it, she was saying like, that just wasn't me. That wasn't going to work.
No, for sure. Emma worked. The Emma.
Yeah, the evil Emma. That, and then like when she kind of evolved more into the evil Emma, which honestly I feel like we didn't see a ton of in WWE. I feel like that was more like once she left, and she was really able to own that character a little bit more in the way that she wanted to. But
she is so beautiful and such
yes,
a good wrestler.
I met
Like,
her in person. She's
I
very
feel like she should be at a higher level than she's at in the world of women's wrestling.
well, she's one of those people who in WWE, I feel like she never, like when she was on the main roster, she did have some opportunities. Like I remember, I think she was Asuka's first pay-per-view match on the main roster, which at that point they were pumping up Asuka because she was still on that undefeated streak. And so I feel like she got some opportunities, but I feel like they kind of put her in a position, like in that example, where she was really used to like sort of put someone else over as opposed to getting to really build her own character the way that she wanted to. And there's some other people that are like that too, where you feel like they could have done more, but they just didn't really get the opportunity. I think that's kind of what we see with some of the talent that's gone over to AEW. Some of the people that have gotten released and have kind of gone other places they have this feeling of like, okay, well, you know, I was in WWE, I had the big opportunity, but like it just didn't pan out for me the way that I wanted it to. So at least now that they have their own creative freedom, they're kind of running with that. I think a lot of people have done really well with that. Another thing, kind of branching off of this topic that I wanted to talk about a little bit and kind of tying into NXT, are your thoughts on them bringing in, just kind of generally speaking, athletes that don't have a wrestling background? Because I know I have some mixed feelings regarding that and kind of how I've seen that work out with different people. So it's kind of curious to see what your take on it was.
That's a really interesting question. And I think that, well, first off, anything WWE is doing, I think is smart. You know, they have so many people that are making decisions. And the reality is these independent guys are rough around the edges a lot of times. They're used to this way. They're used to they make good money. If you're a top star in the indie scene,
yeah,
you're getting $500 to $1,000
you kind of have a good shtick if you're doing that. And if you're well known on the indies and you can work when you want to work, that's kind of a good shtick.
So, and a lot of times, you know, Jake Tucker's a perfect example. You lose your name, it's gone. And even like a Tommaso Ciampa, they whatever's happening when they move up to the main roster, they're losing that. But when you're an indie and you come to WWE, you lose your name. Yeah. Walter, Solo Sikoa was Fatu, but you know what I mean? But Fatu before, there were so many people. Cool Mike C. He's back. What's up, brother?
Back. Woo!
I got zapped with the it's always something. It's always something. But this week it was a surge protector.
Technical difficulties. You know what I mean? I got Jay smoking a blunt, hanging out. He was like, "What's good, dog?" Oh my god. We had Rich. We were trying to get Rich Swan on. He's our buddy.
And he won't do it?
He was in the corner with him there. No, he didn't come on.
Oh, he big timed us, huh?
He big timed Rich Swan. I know you're listening. Why are you big timing us, man?
Come on, Rich Swan. We're your friends.
Julie,
from
we have a question for you from Elvis. He wants to know, who is your favorite male and female wrestler of all time?
Male, I have a couple of favorites. I've said this before on other I don't know if I've said it on this podcast or another one that I did. I have always
been around another podcast with us. How dare you?
She's cheating on us, Nico.
Oh no!
No podcast is as good as ours.
This is a pretty darn.
She was slumming it at the other one. You know, she was doing them a solid.
Yeah, I was gonna. So favorite male, I've always, ever since I was a little girl, I've always been big into Chris Jericho. And Jericho. The reason, I have multiple reasons why, but one of the reasons, I mean, now he's been in this business for how many? I mean, since I was a very small child. And the thing that I love about him is that he's constantly reinventing himself.
Yes.
How many gimmicks, how many different sort of monikers has he had over the years as both a babyface and a heel that have all just been brilliant. And I also think that he, especially in his later years now, we see him in AEW with the Inner Circle and now the Jericho Appreciation Society. I think that he is very smart when it comes to now using his star power to help elevate other people. For example, Sammy Guevara.
Oh, yeah.
When Sammy first came into AEW, he was doing the whole shtick with the panda head, and you know, he had his first match on Dynamite against Cody, and it was kind of like, who is this kid? What is his deal? We don't know. And look at him now. And I mean, now they kind of shifted from the Inner Circle to the Jericho Appreciation Society. And I think what they did there was smart in the sense that, you know, someone like Sammy kind of got what he needed from Jericho. And now he doesn't really need to be in a stable anymore. Now he's kind of got the rocket on himself where he can work on more of his own star power himself. I think he needed to find himself. And I think Jericho's been great at helping other people to do that. And like I said, he's done a lot of different gimmicks himself over the years. I mean, when he did the List of Jericho, when he did the Painmaker, there's so many different things. And now like the Sports Entertainer, Le Champion, there's so many things that he's come up with, and it's good every single time.
It really is.
It really is. There's because sometimes people, I've said this before, they try to reinvent themselves over the years. They try a new
That's better, Mike.
Gimmick.
Right.
They try, new gear. They try to, switch up their look. And like sometimes you're just kind of like, ooh, like this isn't really working.
Have you seen Fozzy perform?
I would love to see it. I would love to see Fozzy.
You got to go on the cruise. You got to go on the cruise.
Jericho cruise. Would you go on the
Wrestling Ranger?
I would actually love to go on the cruise. That's one of the things that's on my bucket list. I know the past couple of years with like all the COVID stuff, it's been a little bit tricky, but that is
the COVID cruise. Oh, it was COVID-y like last year.
Oh yeah, it had to be bad.
And that wasn't like Omicron. That was like the OG one. You had a 50-50 chance of dying in that. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Oh God. But
the OG was scary. I would do the Jericho cruise. Would you, Cool Mike C, would you do the Jericho cruise, or is that not really your cup of tea?
If Jules was there, that would be, reason enough.
We'd have to go just to protect her from all the crazy.
We would have to work out to be fighting.
Would be
them
security
off the
there.
whole
It would
time
be
there.
ridiculous.
We would need security jackets.
I've got my bodyguards.
And by the way, the answer for you for
good.
Twitter
We got the night off.
Absolutely, you absolutely need to be on Twitter. Pretty women who know wrestling are few and far in between on there, and do really well. They do really well. I know the 5 or 6 on there because there's only like 5 or 6. No offense to you ladies. And they all got really. I mean, yeah. Xenia is a perfect example. Do you know who that is? Do you know her? The blonde Russian from AEW.
Yes, I do.
She's she was famous.
She's everywhere.
YouTube. I actually met her at AEW. She was famous on YouTube. She has like 100,000 followers. And
that
then she's like, oh, I'm on Instagram. I go to her Instagram. She has 300,000 followers. I'm like, what the hell? Xenia did that. Is it XENIA did that is her name socials. But then she's like, I think I'm going to join Twitter. And 2 months later, she's got like 13,000 followers. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I might have to bring Heel Julie back to Twitter.
You need to do the combination of talking shit about wrestling and showing pictures of you like looking pretty, and you'll be fine.
Oh,
it doesn't work for me. I can't be like, oh, here's me. And they're like, yeah, you're a piece of shit.
You can try it. I mean,
no, we hate you. You suck. I like it though. I'm actually a heel in real life on there.
I'm a heel in real life too. I think a lot of people think I'm a baby face in real life. I'm not. I present as a baby face, but I'm like deep down, I've got that heel energy.
Mike, are you a heel or a face?
Yeah,
in real
Mike,
life?
Tell us about yourself.
He's so mysterious. By the way, Julie, his real name is not Mike. That's how mysterious Mike really is.
Yes.
I didn't learn he has no social media. You can't find him on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, nothing.
That's okay.
He's under the radar. You can only catch him every Tuesday.
Do
you have LinkedIn?
Are you professionally connecting with
Yes, I do.
Your government name though, not Cool Mike C.
But it's not under Cool Mike C. You can't find it there.
Are you on LinkedIn, Julie?
No. So a couple years ago I went on a spree of getting rid of like any social media that I didn't need. That was when I got rid of my Twitter.
Oh, you got a fan.
Thank you, Elvis. I love the name.
Perfect.
I hope that's his real name, Elvis.
That's his real name. He's Elvis Martinez. He'll be friend requesting you soon, I'm sure. Don't worry. You probably already have a friend request.
Like, I hope that's your real name. That would be a great ring name, Elvis Martinez. I could see it.
Thank you very much. They call me Elvis.
What about Punishment Martinez? That was a great name.
So you said, let's get back to this since Elvis is your favorite. Cool Mike C has MySpace. I love it. You said heel. You said Jericho's your
It's your
favorite
layout.
male. Did you say your favorite female? I don't think I heard it.
No, so finishing on, I just
Let's hear the NXT current. Let's hear who your favorite man and lady wrestler are of NXT 2.0. Let's keep it very topical.
NXT 2.0. I think for females right now, I'm really feeling Nikita Lyons. I think she's got star energy.
Yeah.
She's, you know what? This is real quick sidebar. A couple of years ago, before I knew anything about Bianca Belair, I remember I went to a house show, NXT house show in Lowell, Massachusetts at the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. She had a match against Deonna Purrazzo. And that was the first time I'd ever seen her. And I just remember it was this, dinky little arena, but first time I ever saw her, I was like, she's a star.
Right.
She might not have had the wrestling experience that some of these other people had, but she had the charisma. She's super strong, great physique. The way that she carried
the hair.
It was just all in the attitude.
Everything.
And
everything.
I think Nikita Lyons has star energy.
She screams star energy.
She does.
I'm trying to think for men.
That match was rough with Last Legend last night, though. That shit was rocky. They did some bounce back and forth that was like.
They're both so green at wrestling that no one could lead the other.
I'll tell you what.
It was trial and error wrestling. It really
when Braun Breaker clotheslined that Druid right next to me, he knocked my damn head off.
Yeah.
I mean, he was right. I could feel the wind from him, and he clotheslined the shit out of that dude. He is a stiff. He's a stiff. Him and the Creed brothers. Them dudes are stiff. All right, so you got
Creed brothers are dangerous.
Nikita Lyons is your favorite female.
Let me
favorite guy.
Let me pull up.
Cole Mike C, I already know your answer is Mandy. Of course.
Everybody, we've got to be Mandy for sure.
Mandy is my favorite professional wrestler. I do love Mandy.
Mandy, Mania.
I do really think Toxic Attraction. I think that was a good use of bringing someone from the main roster back to NXT. Because
she's been carrying that roster right now because she made stars out of JC and Gigi. Even though Gigi was kind of a star before him, but this is really
she already was kind of a star.
Priscilla Kelly was okay. Gigi's bigger.
Gigi Dolan's
elevated her.
Gigi's
in the conversation.
Yes, yeah.
She's green though. They all need some work with their wrestling.
Right.
For males, it's hard to not say Braun Breaker, but there's a couple dudes that have a lot of potential, and it's really Braun Breaker, Von Wagner, Odyssey Jones. There's like 3 or 4 dudes, and what? Because he's our friend. Is that why I said that?
Yeah.
I like Odyssey Jones. I think he's cool. I think he's like a very unique character and sticks out.
Von Wagner bought him a shot a couple of weeks ago.
Von Wagner is a bad-looking dude.
Buddy.
No, this dude is a bad-looking motherfucker. He screams pro wrestler. And Joe Gacy, I like him, even though he does look like an Olive Garden server. And they were yelling, "We want breadsticks last night."
We want breadsticks last night.
They were yelling, "We want breadsticks." Cameron Grimes, can't forget about him. I think he's actually dropped the ball a little bit.
To the moon. He's got to get rid of the man bun. No more man bun.
I want to make sure I'm making a decision that I feel really confident about before I say.
It's a tough decision, I know.
It's kind of a tough decision, which is why I want to look at everyone.
Well, not only that, but the decision a week ago might have been LA Knight or Ciampa.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. It was LA Knight.
Ciampa's an easy choice.
Ciampa had been there for so long, and he was there for the black and gold. So there's certain storylines that I would reference from that time frame, like the whole story and the whole series of matches that he did with Johnny Gargano was just that was like Hollywood level.
It was
so good. We got to witness a lot of them live, which was cool.
Let me look at the men right now.
We don't realize how lucky we really are to be a part of it, because we've seen so much crazy professional wrestling like right in front of our own 2 eyes. Like when Ciampa and Gargano beat the shit out of each other at the Performance Center, and he went off the top of the
right in front of us
table, right in front of us, like the debris from the table.
Yep.
And then remember afterwards, the guys
Regal pushed us aside to get
beat
to
the
him.
Shit out of Regal. Yeah, he slapped Regal around. Oh, great. Oh yeah, look, Elvis is naming him right now. Tony D'Angelo,
Tony D.
Waller. These are all stars. Grayson Waller.
That's Nico's is probably Grayson Waller.
I love Grayson Waller
only because I like his charisma and his character, and like the little interaction that they did with him and Tiffany. I remember people being like, "Oh my God, they're gonna get so much heat together," and I was like, if they put something, put legs on that.
Oh, they're definitely gonna put legs on
Tiffany.
that.
That
Tiffany
could go,
has legs
that could go
forever.
somewhere very funny.
Daddy said that I get a new credit card. He'll be like, "Oh, that's great. Let's go to Applebee's."
Yeah. Like I think that they could do something with that. The only hesitation that I have about Grayson Waller, and maybe they'll get better at this over
JC.
time. I think that like maybe it's just me. I noticed recently it seemed like a lot of the guys that were coming in NXT. I don't know if it's just like the way that they're sort of framing them. I think now they're kind of starting to reframe a couple people to make them a little bit different. I was getting like a little worried for a while that they were going to have a lot of these like young guys coming in with like the same sort of style and the same sort of like, I dress like a cool young hipster indie boy kind of style. And I was like getting worried that they're going to have too many people that were like, I'm like a hip young guy and I wear floral button up shirts and like pants that go up to my ankles. And I was getting a little bit worried about that sort of like presentation, that they were going to present too many people the same way. But I think now they're starting to kind of give some people some different things, which like some may be good, some maybe not so good. But I do think that there's like a niche for him. He kind of reminds me of like the college frat boy niche a little bit. Like,
and it's you're right. And like it's funny because I see as more as like the names come out, they're all stars with potential. You see Grayson Waller, Andre Chase, Solo Sikoa, Carmelo Hayes, like all these people.
Yeah, I think he's got good potential too.
Have great potential to be right on Raw or SmackDown in the next couple of cool. Mike C, who is your favorite male wrestler in NXT?
Just like you said, LA Knight leaving, was really a hit. The obvious choice of the best wrestler there is easily Santos Escobar. Easily by far the best. And every time you see him, you get a chance to appreciate him and you go, appreciate the message. This guy can wrestle with anybody. He makes everybody look better. And they don't let him wrestle more than once a month. They really space him out, which I think is good.
Which is smart.
Yeah.
He's a star for sure. Solo Sikoa too. They just beat the shit out of each other a couple weeks ago.
Solo is going
I mean, he's just like made. And like you said, I don't know if it was you or Jay that said it to me last night. He goes, he's going to win the North American Championship to add to the damn lineage up there.
Right. Yes. It's all the bloodline.
He might end up getting the North American and the freaking NXT Championship. And then he's like, now I got all the gold. Acknowledge us. Roman's on a different world right now.
He could win the North American Championship and then just do a guest spot on SmackDown and say, an exhibition match of the North American champion against some SmackDown person that he gets to beat. So you get to see that transition of the bloodline. It could happen. It'll happen this year. He'll be on SmackDown this year.
And I think the thing that I really like about that idea is I think that's like in general, I think that stables can be a really, really great way to build stars, especially when
and sell merch.
And sell
merch. Let's be honest, that's what it's about.
But I think especially we kind of touched on this earlier, when you're doing a stable where you're putting them with someone who's already a big name or already has a lot of experience. I feel like we've seen so many examples over time, where when it's done right, it can really help elevate. Like with Toxic Attraction, you take someone that has more experience and more notoriety, and you put them with some, more of the young and upcoming people, and you kind of, style them, and you get them more experience.
And Mandy benefited from Paige.
I think so.
And Sonya Deville. So, she was the receiving end of that, and now she's getting a chance to transition and help bring the younger girls. So I think she's doing a great job. But
I think so
we're
too.
Huge Mandy fans. So
I've known
anything she does. Anything she does, we think is wonderful.
Yeah,
my wife's like, why do you keep posting pictures of that one lady every time? I'm like,
She looks over at Nika when he posts like TikTok. She's watching to see it because she checks it out.
My wife knows she's my $1 million. She's my 1 million view girl. If I'm going to post something on TikTok and I'm going to get 1 million views, more than likely it's going to be Mandy's beautiful self walking past, giving me some side eye.
Yeah.
It just works for me. And Nikita and Cora Jade are my new money makers.
Quick funny story.
Go for it.
Cora Jade's come a long way. I feel like she did she did some couple of dark matches in AEW, I think, as Lana Black, and she's come a long way since then. I think the thing that I like about her is she's unique. She has a unique look. She's not like your stereotypical like diva that you would see a lot in WWE. She brings something different to the table that I think we haven't quite seen before or haven't seen in a long time, and it's refreshing. And she's very young, and
21.
has a lot of
21.
Potential to be molded over time. Yeah, she's very young. She's a lot of potential to be molded over time. And I think that the way that they have written for her and booked her so far has been very smart. The quick story that I was going to share with you. So a couple of years ago, this was actually before the pandemic.
Her and Natty are going to mix it up. Who do you think wins?
Yeah.
Does Cora take Natty?
Natty's a jobber.
She's a jobber. I agree.
She's been jobbing her whole life.
Cora Jade is definitely getting over.
She might cheat to win.
It's coming. It's going to do it.
Well, let's see what heel Julie thinks.
It's hard to.
Don't let us influence.
I just have a hard time. I have a hard time seeing Natty lose to someone so young and fresh, just because Natty is Natty. But I mean, it would be a huge way to put over Cora. I mean, they could find a very creative way to make it happen. I think that sort of works for everyone. I just think conceptually, it's hard to see Natty, go back to NXT and then
she's doing the job. That's why she's there.
These names coming down. these names coming down are coming down for a reason. Look at it. AJ came down to put over Grayson.
Right.
And who did Matt Riddle come down to put over? Imperium.
Right.
And now we got
and MSK. And MSK is their shaman.
You got Ziggles come down to put over Breaker.
Right.
Now you got Natty to put over Cora Jade.
I think
that's right.
I know. I'm just like, Natty's just such a vet. She's just such a vet that it's hard for me to see. But I think that if they do it right,
you've seen Natty be pinned way more times than you've seen her pin someone.
Right.
Way more times, like 50-1. You've seen her been pinned.
Right. Versus the sharpshooter.
She's an amazing wrestler, but yeah, and she's more behind the scenes now, where she's putting the new talent over.
Yeah.
Her working in NXT is brilliant.
I mean, I think
because she's always helped a lot of younger talent.
Exactly.
Yes.
Can you hear us, Julie?
And there's other people that are like that.
I think you're a second behind us on the audio, aren't you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
She's up in Massachusetts, so there could be a delay.
You're on Massachusetts delay time.
Right,
hearing us talk.
Yes.
That's funny.
We're
15
yeah, I mean, I think that they're
anyways. We only go to 11 o'clock. What are we doing?
You know what? Yeah, maybe I still have a lot more to say about this.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? Maybe we need to sidebar this and
are you going to join us next week? That's the big
question.
Yes,
Julie, are you going to join us next week?
If I am able to, I will. I've been doing, as you guys know, I've been doing.
I see a big time coming.
For my
you're saying if you have something better to do, you said
I'm saying
if I got nothing better to do, maybe you could pencil me in, kind of, sort of, but use an eraser.
Depending on when I have to get my pump on, I will be here.
I love it.
Well, anytime you grace us with your presence, we will
pencil you
always.
In. Pencil me in. I'll
Julie,
call your people.
Where can they find you?
Where can they find me? So I am on Instagram under The Crown Jewels. Crown is with an E at the end. It's like the fancy spelling because the American spelling was taken. That's okay, though. We're going to run with it. So The Crown Jewels on Instagram. And maybe now that you've done a little convincing, I might come back to Twitter as Heel Julie. But if I do, I will be posted. I'm
pretty sure Heel Julie's taken, let's be honest. And
no,
why aren't you
years ago.
And why aren't you TikToking? You're just not your thing. You're not a TikToker.
I kind of do my TikTok, Instagram, I kind of do all that sort of content just in one place. I don't like
TikTok
to have
is a reel. It's the same shit. You know what I mean?
Right. I do my reels. I don't like to have too many different.
So make your reels and then post them on TikTok.
Right. Do that.
You already made them anyways. Just upload them over there.
I could.
Never know what's going to happen.
You need to grow your
Listen,
brand.
like
Jules.
I said, they're the pretty women that are knowledgeable about wrestling. are
Heel
few and far
Jules
between.
brand.
You know what? We'll take this. This is going to be a sidebar conversation. We will take this offline and
Yes.
we will talk. But as of
Stick
right now,
with
I am
us.
on Instagram and I will be here in the future.
Awesome. Crown Jewels, Heel Julie, thank you for joining us. Cool Mike C, we
Thank
know
you.
that you are mysterious and can't be found anywhere, so you guys can just
So mysterious.
You
catch
can't
them
see
right
me.
here. You're the only place you can be seen
This
is
is
on
it.
World
I can only
Wrestling
be seen
Radio.
here. That's
and
it.
LinkedIn.
And
He's on a LinkedIn, but not under Cool Mike C. He's got
Right.
his government name there that only I know,
Right.
and I'm not sharing it because I respect
Right.
the man. So
oh, thank you. That's good.
you are private with me, my friend.
But every Tuesday night at the CWC, watching NXT 2.0.
Julie, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We
Thank
will talk
you.
next week.
Yes.
I don't know why Jay joined, but Jay, an executive consultant, thank you for joining us as well. We'll talk to you guys later. In the meantime, everyone, we will be back next Wednesday for another hard-hitting World Wrestling show. I am Nico Extra. Thank you so much for joining us. Heel, Julie, Cool Mike C, we're out. Let's play that Hulk Hogan music we all love so much. Listen up, brother.
I was walking down the beach, looking for some action. Had my radio set on a rap station. Saw a girl in trouble, a sticky situation. She wanted me to give her mouth to mouth assessment. We were cruising down the beach, checking out the action. Had my radio rocking to a heavy metal station. Putting on some shades, trying to catch some rays when I caught the lifeguard. Messed with my face.